When it comes to learning a language, I have the feeling that it gets more and more complicated. People, especially on the internet, offer you methods, strategies, opinions, and so on. So they focus more on marketing strategies and selling strategies instead of really helping you. Therefore, it's time to reclaim the truth about learning Russian or any other language. First and foremost, you must identify your goal. Do you want to speak the language, to use it, to communicate? Then you are right. This is what I'm going to talk about. So from now on, when I say to learn a language, I mean to learn to speak, to use it. So what does it mean to learn a language? Let's make it as simple as possible. It is a skill, as any other skill. You train muscles. You train your brain muscles. And you practice and repeat again and again, and at some point you just produce the sentences unconsciously without thinking what you're gonna say next. So this is your goal. Then always the big topic appears: talent. Is there talent? Do you need to be talented to learn Russian? First of all, yes, there is talent. And yes, maybe you need a little bit longer than the average person because you are not so talented in this aspect, learning a language. But does it mean you should give up? Of course not. You just do it again and again, and maybe a few months later you reach this point when you just produce unconsciously sentences. So it's a skill, as any other skill. You need to practice. Repetition, repetition. You do it again and again. Let's take another skill. For example, how did you learn to ride a bike? Did you read the manual? Did you learn about frictional forces? How to brake? Or did you get a coaching on strategies? Or did you just try it? I guess you just tried it. And yes, again, maybe some people, they learn it faster. Maybe you need it a little bit longer. But did you give up? No, of course not. And it was good that you didn't give up, because at the end you managed to do it. And it's the same with learning a language. This leads me to the second point, and it is motivation, determination. So nowadays often I hear people offering you, this is the effortless way of learning. That's the joyful way of learning grammar. Learn with us, it's fun. You only need to listen to my podcast. You don't even need to focus. You just do it on the way, and then you pick up the language. Honestly, this is not how it works usually, because as I told you, how do we acquire a skill? At first, it's a lot of work. We need to do it again and again. It's getting better and better. We have ups and we have downs. At the end, we manage to do it. But the way is not always fun. Sometimes it's just work. Sometimes it's disappointment. Sometimes you feel that you don't make any progress. Let's face it and accept it. It is how it is. Let's focus on practice. This leads me to the next important point, and this is strategy. Actually, you don't need a strategy anymore because you already know what to do. You know what you want to achieve. It's to have a conversation. So what should you do? You should practice having a conversation. So it's very easy. This is what I did. When you ask me now, what was my strategy? I didn't have a strategy. I had a goal. And I did what I wanted to achieve. And then I think on the way I developed a strategy, my individual strategy. Because when you do what you want to achieve, then you also figure out the little details, your weaknesses, what you might need to focus on. What do you think when you go to a restaurant? What is more important? That you can conjugate a verb, that you use the right endings? Do you think the waiter will say, "Sorry, I don't understand you because you didn't use the genitive case"? No, of course not. But The waiter will not understand you if you are not able to formulate a sentence. If you need 10 minutes to say a sentence, even if it's correct, but then he will just leave. Or if you don't know the vocabulary because you focused on some details, learning about endings, grammar endings, the most common words in what you need to speak Russian and so on. I don't know, there are so many strategies lists. You see how complicated it gets. I cannot even grasp it. And this is now my big critique when I now look on the internet and see all the materials, all the strategies, the personalized, customized, effortless, innovative approaches, the new way of learning a language. So actually they move away from just practicing, because then it gets really complicated and complex. Then you don't really know anymore what you are doing. So then you are caught and entangled in this bubble, in this web of strategies and opinions. I compare it with this new trend, this self-development trend. Everyone becomes a self-development coach nowadays. But the goal is not really to deliver something, to get results. I have the feeling now I need to balance this trend on the internet, because this side with just focusing on marketing, keeping you engaged in following them, buying materials, focusing on little details that are not really relevant. And I want actually to save you from that. So in doubt, if you get lost, and this is what happens, and this is the problem, and it's not only your fault, because sometimes we feel lost, we feel disappointed, we don't see any progress, and then of course we are looking for shortcuts to acquire the skill to ride a bike. What do you think? What is more helpful? If someone helps you to ride the bike, so maybe to hold it and then to motivate you, to challenge you when you fall down, to help you to get up, to do it again, or someone who just appears and says, oh, I know it's really difficult, but I have this new method, this new approach, and it's very easy, it's a shortcut. You don't even need to invest anything. So you just take out your smartphone and you call an Uber. I mean, this is instant gratification. You think it works, it's nice, you feel good, but then after a few years you realize you still are not able to ride a bicycle. The same happens with a language. You still are not able to have a conversation, although you have been in this community, you have taken courses, audio courses, podcasts, video courses, you followed someone on Instagram, you watched stories, so you thought actually you did a lot. So let's face the truth, let's reclaim the truth. It's not always easy, it's difficult. But when we practice, when we do what we want to achieve, when we do it today, we will see progress. And this is the truth. Just look at your progress. Look at your results. If you're happy, if you see progress, if you're happy with your results, then you do the right things. If you're not happy, if you don't see progress, then you're doing the wrong things.